Hello and welcome to Overanalyzed. My name is Levi, and today I'm going to be starting by taking the first step in a long journey that will hopefully span many months. So today I'm going to dive into District 1, 1A. So I just want to start. 1A does not get a whole lot of coverage, so I'm going to try my best as I cover these districts, but there might not be as much information now as there will be when I get to later and larger classes. So just a disclaimer before I start, I'm going to try not to use names when doing these videos. Obviously there are people behind these names and they might not want them being thrown out. It just didn't sit right with me, so I'm not going to do it. Alright, so I'm going to start off with where this district is. So this district is kind of in the northeast part of the Panhandle, northeast of Amarillo, east of that interstate, and it's just it's 1A, so it's a connection of small towns. So, and then going into the changes that the district is going through. So, Booker, who was in their district last alignment, is no longer with them. They're moving up to 2A, and coming in is going to be Kelton, around the Wheeler area, and so Kelton, I'm pretty sure they're just a small school. I didn't see them on the previous alignment, so I'm only really going, so there's 7 teams in this district, and I'm going to cover 5 of them here. So the 7 teams are Fort Elliott, Derouzet, I think, sorry, Follette, LaFour, McLean, Miami, and Kelton. So first, I'm going to start with Miami, and so they had a pretty good season this past year. They, I watched a couple of their highlight videos, and they looked pretty solid. They only had 1 district loss. They went 11-1. They made it to the regional quarterfinal match before they lost to Valley High School, which most teams lost to Valley, so not exactly a bad loss. So I checked their roster, and they are going to be losing some players at the end of the season. I counted 6 seniors, which is almost a majority in their team. They do have a couple people coming back that did score a lot of points and did get a lot of minutes. So they've got those people coming back, so I think we definitely will see them in the playoffs next year. Alright, so next is Follette. So Follette came in second in this district last year. They split with Miami, I'm sorry. But they also split with McLean, which means 2 district losses, 10-2. They didn't have anything on huddle besides the roster, so say they only have 3 seniors on the team. But they've got, with only 3 people leaving, they're obviously going to have a lot of significant minutes coming back next year. I think they could even challenge for the top spot in the district, just with the amount of people they have coming back, but then also the caliber of those players. Alright, so next is McLean. McLean, there's not much on them, not even really a full schedule, and only kind of half of a roster, so I think they only have a few seniors on the team, maybe 3 to 5. I know that's kind of a big difference, 3 to 5, but I can't really definitively say how good they'll be next year. But I think they could be back in the playoffs. Just they've got enough people coming back, but then also they seem to take care of business against kind of the bottom teams in the district, which I think they could do again. I don't know if they'll be able to move up into second place. That's a pretty strong top 2 that they've got in this district, but I think it would not be a surprise to see them in third again. Okay, next is Fort Elliott. Fort Elliott came in 4th. I did check the film. It seems like they just struggled against some of the better teams, Miami and Follette, but then also in the playoffs they faced Valley in the first round. So It's just they are also going to pay this offseason. They've got 5 seniors, which is a majority of their team. But from what I could see, they do have their point guard coming back, and so I think that it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to make the playoffs this next year. But it's definitely not out of the picture for them. All right, next up is LaFour. LaFours. I'm sorry, I'm not great with pronunciation or anything. So they didn't have many standout wins. They didn't have really a whole lot of games to begin with. But from what I could tell, they don't have any seniors. In fact, I think they only have like 1 junior, which means that they've got a lot of experience, which at least in the next 2 years, especially with this district that we have, that they're in here, we could be seeing them make the playoffs, and maybe even this year, maybe they can snag a spot. All right, so my final standings for this district, and I'll put this on Twitter, and I'll put a picture of this on Twitter. So my final standings, I've got Follett, Miami, McLean, Fort Elliott, LaFour, Kelton, and DeRosette. So Follett, I've got going 11-1, only splitting with Miami. Miami splitting with, of course, Follett, but then also McLean. So kind of a role reversal for Follett and Miami. And then I got McLean splitting with Miami and Fort Elliott. So McLean kind of struggled against Fort Elliott. I don't know if it was a personnel thing. I don't know if there was, I don't really know, but they did do, they did not, they scored less points and gave up more points in both of those games than really any other of their games. And they did have a good non-district schedule, but still Fort Elliott was a bit of a struggle for them. So, and then next I've got Fort Elliott splitting with McLean and LaFour, and LaFour splitting with Fort Elliott and also beating the bottom 2 teams. Bottom 2 teams, I don't really know what Kelton is capable of, but I don't think they will make the playoffs this year, either one of those teams. So that means that I've got Follett going 11-1, Miami 10-2, McLean 8-4, Fort Elliott 6-6, LaFour 5-7, just barely missing out on those playoffs, and then Kelton and DeRosette maybe splitting, maybe a sweep, I don't know. Again, I'll put that on Twitter. But yeah, that's really all I have for this district. There wasn't a ton of info. This is going to be how 1A is going to be mostly. There's just not a lot of information out there. But I think this was a great start to this long series. And come back tomorrow and I'll be doing District 2 1A.